But your eyes are flying saucers from another planet. Now I'm all for you like Janet. Can this be a real thing? Can I? But your eyes are flying saucers from another planet. Now I'm all for you like Janet. Can this be a real thing? Can I?
We live in a complicated world, and I believe we, the people, have the right to know what's happening in our towns, cities, and states. The mainstream media does not have our best interest at heart, and I want to share some information from around our great nation so we can fight back by being informed. Join me each week as we go after hours and get behind the scenes to uncover the truth. The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to After Hours. And tonight's guest is Rex. He's got a YouTube channel too, and he is writing a comic book. And I just thought he'd be a wonderful guest to bring him on. And he's also in Arkansas. So
on a brand new show, right? I mean, how long have you been doing After Hours?
This is my second one.
Woo! Thank you.
But I wanted to do something different so that I could have different topics, different things that are going on in our communities, what other people are doing, with pulp culture, with everything. And I just thought that would be a good name because I already have a shit show. So
yeah. And I've caught that. That's on Friday nights, right?
My Friday night shit show. And we're always going to have shit to talk about. So I'll always have that. But I wanted to ask you about how you got started into thinking about doing your own comic book. I mean, what got you motivated into that? And I'll bring up different things and you can talk about them. But go ahead and just start off by introducing yourself and giving us a little information about what got you motivated into doing this in the first place.
Well, you're in Arkansas as well. Where are you now? Tell me once more.
I'm in the Ozarks.
You're in the Ozarks. Now that covers a lot of.
Well, it's up above Conway in that area, up there in the mountainy area there.
Okay.
In Hillbillyville.
Conway's where they do Toad Suck celebration.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Well, it's a while. I have to drive like 40 something miles to buy alcohol. So.
Oh, you do? Okay. So you're a dry county. So is Jonesboro, which is in Northeast Arkansas.
A
We're
lot of
Dry
people
County.
still can't believe that because I
Yeah.
left New Orleans where I could drive right down the corner and go through a drive-through and get a daiquiri and then come
Yeah.
somewhere like this. You don't even think about it when you come looking around and things like that because they have restaurants where you can get alcohol, right? So I'm like, what happened? It's just weird.
Well, we used to have blue laws too, what they call blue laws, where things shut down on the weekends, right? On
Yeah,
Sunday.
on Sunday you can't buy any alcohol still.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. So stock up, right?
that's right.
How did I get comics really made me a reader, Janet? And here in Jonesboro, Arkansas, I was adopted and brought up here at 3 months old. Which, I just got to meet my last this week or last week? I guess it was earlier this week or last week. I don't know. It goes by so quick. I got to meet my sister for the very first time after about 60 years.
Yeah.
We reconnected, and that was a lot of fun, going around and doing things, from my bucket list that we didn't get to do as kids. So we got to see movies and watch TV together and have ice cream and pizza and, things like that. Just go to a food truck, we had a fun time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because that normally doesn't happen. But the way she found me was through a DNA test through my daughter. So, yeah, we make moonshine around here. In fact, I have some moonshiners in my family history, as well as some outlaws. We're connected on the family tree to Frank and Jesse James. We're connected to a founding father that wrote that was signed the Declaration of Independence.
I did my DNA and I found out through my grandmother's side that I'm related to Pat Garrett, the lawman. So
there you go. Yeah.
So it's all really weird.
Yeah. Yeah. It is weird, when you find out that our family crest is even on the flag of Maryland, because we came over from England, was quite affluent, and family crest even on the flag of Maryland, and connected to related to two presidents, the 9th and the 29th president, last name Harrison. Hey, Bone. Yeah. We got Omer Glitch. He's the one that helped me with the shorts. Shout out to him. Hopefully we'll look at some fan art. He did some fan art that's on my campaign.
Yeah, I'm going to share that you sent me in the messages, right?
Yeah. I was into monsters as a kid. I wanted to Scholastic news and stuff. You get these magazines and things that you'd order through school, and it would have a comic section, but that didn't really hook me. I love the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons and stuff, and Super Friends and stuff like that in the 70s. And so I was exposed and knew who Spider-Man and Batman were somewhat, as much as probably anybody else did back then. Was ravenous for TV, watched a lot of TV, because I knew even my parents were older. My mother was 31 when she got me. That was a little bit of information I got recently when my sister visited. And I knew she had to be in her late 20s, 30s, They waited a little bit longer, and it occurred to me, probably in the mid 90s, that they probably passed on some of that maturity to me. They weren't just kids having kids,
Yeah.
They had waited and they'd wanted kids, but there was a biological problem there, I guess. And, well, they never could have their own kids. So they adopted first my brother and then me. He's about 2.5 years older than I am. So I wasn't an only sibling. And, rambunctious boy, but just through those school things and ordering Scholastic books and stuff, and I kind of got into monsters and reading about like King Kong and Dracula and all these classic movies from Universal from back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, and was really like that stuff on TV and stuff. My first Marvel anything was a Marvel magazine, Vampire Tales. It dealt with vampires, and it was a little adult for my age, probably. My father didn't want to buy it for me, but I begged him enough, and he bought it for me from a convenience store. But even that didn't get me collecting comics. My grandfather was in the hospital here in town, and we went to pharmacy. And while my mother was over there visiting him, or afterwards getting some medicine for him, I checked out the spinner rack. That's when we had a spinner rack. You buy a comic. Okay. I bought the Avengers 147. And then we went back a couple weeks later and I bought another comic, and it just happened to be 148. I had bought, before that, I'd bought from my neighbor some comics, about 6 different comics, when he had broke his leg, and his parents bought those for him. He's like, well, I'm thinking about putting these in a yard sale, and I bought them for 50 cents. And I like that, but I didn't even know comics were continued on like a soap opera. Hey, Tank's done some work on my, we need some wrenches around here. Oh, wow.
Well,
Stop the show right now. I
Bones-
realize we've only got about an hour, but Omer wants some wrenches. Damn.
We do have a couple
Think
in
about
here
when
that
you're
I've
doing this
seen.
show. Huh?
We have a couple. We have Bong. We have Snortopoopas in here. Let me go up a little bit. We've got Jackie's in here. At least I thought I saw her in here a while ago. Oh, I don't see her. Maybe she hasn't come in yet.
I
But
went
she'll be
back. Bone's got a question. Do you still have those comics, the first one you ever bought?
Mhm.
Yes, I have. The first one my grandmother bought, and I have the first Avengers I bought, and I have that first Vampire Tales, which had some amazing Spider Mobius origin story in it by Gil Kane. All the rest is gone due to a fire in '97. But I have went back and tried to collect some of those old ones, that I had. I bought some very early on. I bought 3 issues at TG&Y, which was all DC stuff, I think. There was a Legion of, can't hear you for some reason.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
on X though, so X
okay.
might be having some technical problems because I
And
don't
maybe
think
take the mute button off.
Yeah. Am I muted?
I will always say no to that, because one time I was joking around and somebody got mad and destroyed their laptop. And I was just joking. They were asking if they were muted, and I said yes. And so they said, well, I'll be back. And they got mad and tore their laptop up and came back on their phone. I said, well, lesson learned. I won't do that anymore.
Well, I like to know if nobody can hear me, because in case I mess
you're
up.
coming through.
But
crystal
I brought
clear.
up your YouTube channel, and I'm going to scroll down through it while you describe what's on there and why you have it on there, that type of stuff, if you don't
Okay.
mind. So hold on, let me.
Recently got monetized. A little bit over 3 years in the making. I wasn't even putting up content, and I started co-hosting with Apex Comics, who's also done some fan art for the campaign.
Yeah.
A Sea Demon trading card. That was the last. That No More Glitches fan club card. We do interviews, like we just had one on about a supernatural Western. You can see that.
You want me to click on your live?
Sure. Yeah, it's just this
So we
show.
can kind of show. Can you see it on here?
I can see it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, these are a bunch of his shows that he's had on, and he's
It's
got a
all
good
done
variety.
live except for the shorts. There's been a couple other things I've dropped, but for the most part, everything's done live on my campaign. I kind of think that's maybe why I've heard that they like you, YouTube likes you to do one or the other, right?
Yeah.
And at first they wanted you to like drop little shorts, like you said you do.
Mm-hmm.
And this is some of the artwork on the campaign and other stuff, some early stuff, like that's early Devil Flyer drawing.
Yeah.
Down there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I put up thumbnails, sometimes I don't, but usually it's artwork from my files.
And then you have your playlist, so people can come and just pick whatever list they want. And then it has like different. This one says 4 videos. This one has 2. This one has 2, and this one has 1. But it's an easier way to look at the collections that you have. And then you also have shorts. And I've already got these separated on the different up there, bookmarked, that I'll play here in a little bit, so that people can get a view of them. And I'm also going to share your actual the actual links to each of the shorts in the chat so that everybody can just go to it. But I'm going to share your YouTube channel again in the chat real quick.
Okay.
So that everybody can click on it. I
Oh, yeah.
appreciate it if you guys would get on there and then also bookmark it so you have it for later. And then I'm also going to share his X profile for anyone that's on X. Do you have a Rumble?
I do have a Rumble, but I don't have any content up there yet, so
Okay.
I don't have that
All right.
link.
Well, I just wanted to ask so I could share it.
Appreciate
But I've got your 2 links in there now, and oh, look, you got somebody from your page saying hi.
we can talk politics too, you know, just after hours and stuff.
Well, yeah, but it depends because
Yeah.
I need to know the topic beforehand so I can see whether or not I would do it on YouTube or not.
Right,
Because
right,
YouTube doesn't like a lot of
You're-
my
Yeah, I found out
my
today
point of
you're quite a
view.
controversial person.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to
it's
hear
pretty
about
bad.
your troubles with that one video.
Yeah, it's terrible, isn't it? But the thing is that I think it's awesome that you are using something creative inside of you because you draw a lot too, right? Or are you just writing the story?
No, a lot of people think that I was just a writer when I came on board because I was hiring just to expedite things. I was,
Yeah.
and it was a collaborative type thing anyway. John Fernandez, is my neighbor, a couple blocks
Yeah.
away. I've known him since 1982.
Mhm.
And we would have worked more, but he always kind of changes my designs a little bit. So, but I had proposed in 2017 that we do a Devil Flyer story. And if I've got the times right, I believe I created him in 2007. I've got some characters like Sea Demon that goes back to 1993. Bog goes back to 2015. So different characters I've created over time, and I've kind of was world building and stuff. And I started co-hosting with Apex, and he challenged me to start putting up videos on my channel, which I'd had since August, and it was in the end of December. And I just, okay, well, I'll try that. And I started using the YouTube studio and showing stuff from my collection, which is rather extensive. And so that's the Drawn Interior, the Western character that I'm really excited about right now.
See, I've got it open so that I can share with everybody what is in your what you sent me in photos. So I had to make it smaller so nobody could see all the rest of the people that I'm talking to. But I'm going to go back up to the top, and then we're going to go through, and I'm going to share this here in a little bit too, the 2 links. But here we go. I'm going to click on this, and you can tell us about it, what this is.
Yeah,
in this picture.
yeah. This is the 10 card trading card set that we have on there. There's a 10th secret mystery card. I won't tell you what's on that. On the other cards, obviously it's the same character, whether it'll be the character and stats on the back of that 10th card, or it'll be like the rest of them, which is one character on one side and one on the other. You know, you'll find out if you buy this. Free domestic shipping on this costs you $10 domestically. I've been creating these with Omer Glitch using the various artists on here. We've got John Fernandez Golden Age cover, which is sort of his gray and blue costume. We got Dirty Joe done by Hockey. He's down in Australia. We got Bystander there by Doc Blaylock. He's in Georgia. And we've got The Seer done by John Dillard, and he's over in California. And myself here in Arkansas, and Tank Ferret, who's up in Illinois. So quite the
they're
crowd.
really, really good. Very, very talented. And I like the fact that you're using colors and black and white, because real comic book fanatics like me enjoy seeing both. Reading comic books with both, you know, in black and white and in color. It doesn't always have to be in color. I don't know why. It's very nostalgic to me sometimes, depending on the story and depending on the artist too. The artist has to have a certain flair for it to be really good in black and white. But I like to see that sometimes. And just like you said, they can come and watch if they subscribe to your YouTube channel, come and watch you working on your pictures too as you're working on it. But you also have your packages on your 2 channels that you're doing the GoFundMe and the Indiegogo, right? So you can get different packages depending on the donations, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, over there on Indiegogo, we started out with a 24-page ash can, which has
Hmm.
set the first 7 pages of this story, of the Devil Flyer story. Of course,
Yeah.
it is kind of like a hero anthology, but it has horror elements. It has different genres in there, noir, you know, more cosmic, sort of Marvel
Hmm.
feel to it. The ash can is like the first was like the first one we did a couple years ago. Did over 1,400, and it's still up there on Indiegogo. I just never taken it down. Um, we produced 3 our first 2 trading cards, 3 bookmarks, and 2 magnets
Hmm.
with that campaign. And so I think everybody was so satisfied for an ash can. Ash cans done back in the 30s were done to expediently copyright comics, and then one or maybe a logo or something. Maybe the
Yeah.
guts of the book had nothing to do with the cover. Maybe the cover had nothing to do with the guts. It was
Yeah.
just to quickly get something out before and copyrighted before, and then it was usually thrown away into what we call a trash can or ash can. And
Hmm.
ash cans kind of made a resurgent back in the early 90s and kind of came back. And I don't
Well,
think they've
I,
ever
I
went
never
away.
threw away anything I purchased as a comic book. I didn't care if it was
Mhm.
how cheap it was. Even the free ones that I get when you go to the movies sometimes, I
Exactly.
kept. So I'm a hoarder really bad when it comes to
Those are
comic
called
books.
promo books, and let me tell you, some of those promo books, generally with the price guide, are more affordable. They don't, at least in the Overstreet official they don't acquire a lot of money, but they can. Like I went
Mhm.
back and got just some freebies that I got because I think they're going to do well, because it's like the first appearance of Constantine in anything comic book related before he was actually in Swamp Thing. So I
Yeah,
think some of those freebies can, with first appearances, are kind of like rookie cards in trading cards, so they can be worth
yeah,
something. And that's something I always promise with my comics that I produce. I think on the ash can, you had uh 16 or 17 first appearances of characters.
hmm,
And then in this one, I can't even tell you. There's going to be 50 characters probably at least make their first appearance in this comic. Because I'm
yeah.
going to give you an overview of my characters that I've been sort of creating since the 1970s.
Okay, well, this is the next one I drew. I pulled up. It's a black and white. Is this because he hadn't colored it yet, or is this just
Exactly.
a? Yeah. So this is the second one. It was in your message to me. So you can tell us a little bit about this picture,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
If you want to click on it and bring it up bigger, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, this is as big as I can get it. It's already,
Okay.
I'm already clicked on it.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem. Yeah, this is the front and back cover. So you've got of the art of Devil Flyer, which the
Mhm.
art of Devil Flyer gives you some behind the scenes kind of making of artwork. We've also got an art book on there on the campaign that also does that. That's going to be a hardback. We're trying to do
Yeah.
some. This is a new item that this is the only one. It's a 60 pager. So unfortunately, we do have some shipping cost on this book, but all the rest of the new items have free domestic shipping for about a couple of months, and then I'll take that
Mhm.
down. But yeah, this is
Yeah,
kind of a
that's
role
really nice.
reversal and a
Yeah.
preview of the next book that's going to come out, because he's
Yeah,
going to,
because it says new art book down here on the
yeah,
so. And who
new
is this cutie right here?
that's the love of my life. That's a very a younger picture when probably shortly, and the blanket that she came to me in. Um,
Oh.
she was about this size when I got her.
Mhm.
Um, 3 months old, fully grown. Now she's filled out since then, um,
Oh, she's
but
precious. I
yeah.
lost both my babies last
Oh,
fall.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So I just haven't gotten, I just can't get to the point where I'm ready to get another one yet. It's too tough. I had my two. One was 16, blind and deaf by the time he died. He was a Chihuahua, and then the other one was a Shih Tzu, and he was 13, and he was blind and almost, completely deaf
Well, this
So
is
that
Abigail, and Abigail means bringer of joy. And she's actually she's actually named after a girl almost married. Unfortunately, she had bad cancer and she wanted to
oh,
go to Tennessee and live with her family. So instead of struggle through that with me. So I, but we had been friends for at least 10 years before we
well,
decided.
she's adorable, and I can tell that she makes you feel good every day. I'm sure she gives you
Absolutely.
love. Well, here's another one.
12 years old now.
Oh,
Yeah,
here you
this
go.
is
Here's another one.
Homer Glitz's not the non-colored version because he has
Hmm.
colored it since then and sent me
Yeah.
the original artwork to this, which was very nice of him. It's a watercolor.
Mhm.
This was early, if not maybe the first, or maybe Jonas. I'm not sure. I remember Jonas being the first, but I may have that wrong. Jonas is in Sweden. Homer is in Texas. This was some
Yeah,
early fan art done in 2022 of Devil
but
Flyer.
it's really, really good. Very good. Very detailed. You're
And
lucky.
he,
You lucked out getting another cartoonist because I know so many people that would love just to have a decent cartoonist help them with their work.
and these are
With their,
different versions. I think he kind of colored one of them and kind of gray toned one. This was from Jonas from Sweden. A little bit of fan
Mhm.
artwork of Devil Flyer he did a few years ago.
Yeah, that's a good
So
one too.
it's really neat to see what other people's vision of your character is.
Yeah, it really is. These are fan art,
That's
basically.
fan art,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
People that have
very,
drawn my
very
character.
good. But to know that you inspired somebody to draw one of your characters,
Hmm.
I think is awesome. I mean, that's the best type of you know
I really
saying,
like this. This
"Wow, I love
almost
you."
the
Yeah, this
coloring on this almost looks like those old style holographic cards you used to get.
yeah, it's really, really cool. This would be a
Mhm.
great collector card right here.
It would, yeah. And we
I
may
think
do
so.
a fan club
These
card.
are the kind of cards that you would want to make, and I would also make them a little bigger than the normal ones. I'd make the regular size, but I'd also make the little ones that are like 6 by 4,
Uh-huh.
and have them at your autographing, places. Like if you go to a con or whatever in Arkansas, and you have a booth, and you autograph these.
Now, do you go to some of those cons? Because if you do,
I
we
I
may.
went to the last one.
Okay, okay.
And
So
I
once
went dressed as an Andorian, and I got to meet William Shatner and Christopher Lloyd, and they both
you
autographed my Federation of Manual,
you go,
Federation of
girl,
Planets.
you go,
It was
girl. I mean,
awesome.
William Shatner. Wow,
Yeah, it was
it's
great. I had so much fun.
it's just amazing. He's still going strong at 90 something.
Yeah, he looked great. He just looked up at me and said, "Wow, you went all out." And I said, "Yes, sir." I was so happy to see him. I was almost speechless, but
At least you didn't stab him, because
no.
Andorians tend to stab Kirk.
I was in awe of him. I just had a blast, and my daughter went with me, and she was dressed as Magenta. So that night, later on the next night, we went to a Rocky Horror Picture Show. So I got to dress up as Magenta that night. So that was fun
Mm. Well,
because I
that's
like
cool
all
that
that stuff.
she did it one night and you did it the other. That's cool.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
great.
did she go with you that night? And then what did she dress up as?
She went dressed as that night. She went as Rocky.
Wow. That
So
that
it was
could have been a
fun.
contender. Yeah.
Well,
This
as a
this,
Frankenfurter, I mean,
this
she went
was
as Frankenfurter.
done. He has done his own comics. He's
Hmm.
done, but I still kind of consider this fan art. A Tank Ferret actually first did the concept for me of just sort of the heroic pose of his trotting up in the air and lightning coming
Hmm.
down and hitting it, and him just looking all
Yeah.
sort of in his glory. And so from that Tank Ferret piece, he did this piece, and he did another piece. I just showed you this one, but he did this on the show live with us,
Hmm.
both of them. And
This is a really good one.
he's going to be, and he's got some artwork on the campaign. I'm definitely going to use this artist, Rob Ewing. He's in New Mexico now. He was in South Carolina,
Well,
I
I
believe
wanted
in
to
it
ask
too.
you a question real quick. I forgot to
Sure.
ask earlier is what is the background for this character? What does he do in your comic book? Is he a hero, anti-hero? I mean, what does he do?
She's crying. Okay. Um, I,
You
I
just
will
give us a
not.
little taste.
Okay. I will not tell his origin. You know, I was thinking he's got a story arc, right? This is a
Mhm,
prequel book. It is magazine size. It's going to be 48 pages,
mhm.
probably expanded to 52 pages. We got
Yeah,
other stuff with it, tapestries and standees and all kinds of stuff. But in the main book, you know, I'm going to vacillate. I'm going to keep you guessing. Who is Devil Flyer? Is he good? Is he bad? I'm not going to. After the story arc, which I kind of have in mind, will be 6 issues. Actually, more than that because I'm kind of doing the prequel, the 0 issue next of Devil Flyer, because
yeah,
I often they'll do a series and then they'll come in with a 0 issue. I want to do mine in order. So I'm putting in a 0 issue. That way I can lay a good foundation before I start issue 1, because we're going to do a countdown of like
yeah.
six stories in one issue, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then on the climax of the arc in issue 6, it's going to be just Devil Flyer and all those stories, all those characters wrote into that one story, because they're basically going to storm hell, or a hellish chaotic realm, and try and save the earth from this impending doom that's coming on. And then I said after that, well, after Devil Flyer kind of becomes its own book, how can I top that? Well, I figure by that time you're invested in the character, you want to know more about him. We'll tell the origin story. So in issue 7, you'll get the origin of Devil Flyer. And
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
not till now, in with that said, in this issue, you get a 2-page spread that visually kind of gives you when he's shot in the neck, spoilers, and he's kind of delirious, right? It's kind of
Mhm.
like a shattered glass, because he is sort of laying in shattered glass. And it's these scenes from his past. So you do get a little alluding to his back, or he was born in 1899, fought in
Mhm.
World War One and World War Two. So what's he doing? And all the stories are slightly in the past, and we're leading up to the present.
That's
That's
awesome.
and there is some time travel, but it's, you know, it's going to be wild. It's going to be a
It
wild ride.
sounds well, but the reason I asked is because my
Mhm.
favorite comic book characters, all of them, are all anti-heroes. So I love Morbius. I love Deadpool. I love Wolverine, and I love Ghost Rider. I mean, they're all, bad guys, but they're good guys. You know what I mean?
I would
So,
say if you get this book and you get the next one, the 0 issue, well,
mhm,
actually, I'm going to do 2 books, and that story is going to be in what I call, which is going to be an ongoing series called Momentum of Future Visions,
mhm.
or Momentum Unleashed Future Visions, and that's where all the stories are told in the future. And there's a story told in the slight future, one told in 250 years in the future, where you see another side of Devil Flyer in
Yeah,
that story. You got a story set in 1959. Well, you could say, well, Rex, why is that in Marvel Future Visions? Because it's not in our future, it's in the character's future. The story is
mhm,
called The Death of Silver Boa. And that just about sums it up right there. And then a Midnight, my Western character that you were showing earlier a little bit,
yeah.
uh, there's a story told, and I'm telling her story from when she was a young lady and when she's like about my age, about 60 years old. So and I'm telling her the story in 2 timelines. So this is
Yeah,
going to
I'm
be
gonna share. I'm gonna share the little shorts for each of them because I think they're really cute. I went and watched them a couple times
okay.
earlier,
Thank you for that.
so that we could share them with the people with the music and the motion and stuff. I just really think
Mhm.
that's why I love shorts. I just do lots of shorts, but I started out on TikTok, so
I
it's
don't
kind of hard
actually.
to go.
Omer Glitch made these for me so that I could get monetized.
Well, they're great. I mean, they're really good, and I think you should make as many as you can. And you don't have to tell anything. All you have to do is have dramatic music and take a couple of the pictures and let them move around, change them or whatever. There's so many different types of ways to edit nowadays, and it doesn't cost you a lot of money, but it kind of gives. If you started a TikTok, you could draw more people to your YouTube too that way.
Absolutely.
And
I'm
talk
going to
about
do
your
that.
stories. So I would definitely try that.
Sidebase Jeremy says, Rex, do you know who Gary Shipman is?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've backed 3 of his books and had him on and interviewed him a couple times on my channel.
Yeah, yeah.
I interview people like him, Mike Barron, Dan Lawless, Edwin, Omer. I mean, you name it.
Mhm.
With my co-host Shadowhawk, which is in the house. Go ahead, Janet.
Okay,
Roll
well,
that
I was
theme
going to
through.
bring up this next picture now,
Okay.
and then I'm going to do these, and then I'll do the shorts.
Okay, this is Omer Glitch. This is going to be made into this is kind of like fan art, a bog that he did from our story in there, done by Doc Blaylock, Gray Tales. And so he did this watercolor here. And actually, this was up on the campaign, and so do a friend of mine.
I really love this one. I don't know why. It's kind of like the Swamp Thing.
Yes.
With I was trying to think of the other one. The Grinch. That's what I was thinking. The
Absolutely.
Grinch and the Swamp Thing. Is that that's who it really resembles to
He's
me.
a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Yep.
But I really do like this.
Boris Karloff. Somewhere around here, I have
another,
a Grinch.
Fan art or right here?
That is now inked by me and partially colored by me with alcohol markers. This is just what I had on file. We were kind of in a rush to put some of this up. I didn't have the finished thing scanned, but this is going to be made into a trading card along with that bog by Omer. This was done back in 2023. Another character of mine, drawn by Apex Comics, that I co-host with on some Saturday nights on Apex After Dark. That's kind of how I got my start, was on his show.
Are you going to have a few black and white unfinished ones for your cards too?
Oh, absolutely. Like this, I'll probably do. Yeah, exactly. I will do like pencil roughs and stuff. I like that. And I think people like to see the process.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to be doing it for your Indiegogo, you want people to see the arc. You know what I mean?
That's my co-host. This is the drawn in tier. This is my co-host.
Yeah.
On the left-hand bottom there with the Clint Eastwood hat, and then wearing the Billy Jack hat above him up there in the left-hand corner is Crooked Painter. He's been drawn into 16 different comics, or will be. And then, awesome. Which is pretty wild. All these characters are going to be now. Shadowhawk, he wants to be killed off after 2 or 3 stories. 3 or 4 stories. That's kind of a thing in comics. That is Midnight in the middle when she's younger, and then older. I'm going to be telling her in 2 different timelines. I call the other one Old Lady Midnight, and then that's her horse up there called Sunset. One of the horses, because obviously horses die. Over time. And then there's in the bottom right-hand corner is actually a guy that grew up in Alaska. He is a tracker. I didn't know any of this. I said, I kind of see your character as a tracker, and because they're not only getting drawn into this, they're getting written into my Midnight book when I do it, which is like. And you can get drawn in too. I think the next drawn in tier, so I can get all my characters in this book, will be Sea Demon up there. My underwater Aquaman. I created him back in 1993, and he's got green skin. If you want to know what he looks like, he's all green.
I'm going to clear that off for a second, and then I'm going to share.
Are you doing a Pippi Longstockings look tonight? That looks lovely.
Well, I do that. I've done this quite a few times. It's just fast and furious. Like I told you, you didn't hear me because I said I ran out to the coop. I had to shut my big coop and make sure my little bantams were put up. Because remember, last week, I guess you didn't know, but most of my viewers know, I had a raccoon that got trapped in my big coop. And I heard him screaming. It was pouring down rain last week. And I went running out there in my, underwear and T-shirt. and a flashlight
TMI.
because I heard my chicken squealing, and I ran out there and I could see them all running around. I ran to the back of the coop and opened the door. There was a huge raccoon in there.
Mhm.
So he ran up in the side between my nesting boxes because I have 4 on each side.
Mhm.
And I took a metal rake and I crammed it underneath the bottom so he couldn't get out. And then I took some poles, the ones I had cut for the roosting bars out of bamboo, and I crammed it down in there and wedged it to the ceiling where he couldn't get out the top. And then I ran back to the house, got my 9mm and ran back out there. And then I put it right down in there and shot it. And man, my ear just went ring. So I thought I lost my hearing, but the whole night was terrible and it scared the crap out of me. But
you got a smelly raccoon, or were you able to get the body out?
No, I got it out.
The lateral
It
damage,
hobbled out.
folks.
It didn't kill it. It hobbled out.
Oh God!
But I killed one of my chickens, so I was really
Like
mad
the
at
original
it.
face hugger from Arkansas.
Yeah,
That
it was.
and possums around here.
Yeah,
They'll
man,
get your
they're
chicken.
horrible. Yeah, and snakes. I've gone
And
out many
foxes,
times.
foxes too.
Yeah, fox. My rooster has
Mm-hmm.
attacked a fox before out in the middle of the day.
Oh, yeah, they will. Some of those roosters are.
Yeah,
They're bad
but that's
at it.
why I have to have. You can't cut the spikes off your roosters, or they can't defend their hens. So
You're right.
it was just
So
a
you're
horrible
not-
night.
You're not paying $6 for eggs.
No, that's what I said in your DM. I thought I said to you that, or on your chat earlier, I thought I said I'd bring you some eggs. I'll bring you
Yeah.
a 24 count.
There you go.
'Cause
There you go.
I got Easter eggers mostly, and they're all different colors. I got beautiful, beautiful eggs.
Oh,
But
there
I'm gonna
you go.
share
Oh, yeah.
real
This
quick.
is egg season.
Yeah.
Do you have?
I'm
Do
gonna
you have
share
something
your.
special you're gonna do for Easter?
I don't know. I haven't decided. I like to be
Okay.
spontaneous.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we'll see. But I'm sharing your YouTube channel again real quick, and I'm going to share your ex
Home says
we
that
go to
story
the-
escalated quickly.
before we go to your. I want to show your shorts. So just give
Okay.
me 1 second.
I usually use Fruit of the Looms, but Hayes is also a good brand.
Okay. Well, I'm going to present your first one, which would be for your double flyer. So I'm going to do that one. Let me get it
Shadowhawk
open.
says, "Is it wrong that I'm jealous of the raccoon?" It's okay, Shadow.
Well, it was scary. I'm telling you, that was one
Yeah.
scary event for me. Well, let's see. Let me open. I think it's this one. Nope, that's the wrong one. Sorry, I'm so slow at this. Oh, here we go. Here it is.
I'm good, Jeremy.
Here we go. And I'm going to push play. So here we go. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. I love that the people can see it and then
Uh-huh.
see it with color afterwards.
And that is the artist. That's going to be the hardback, which is the
Mhm.
logo in color. And then that way they get to see the line art of my artist Dillard,
Yeah, this
John
is really
Dillard.
good. I'm copying the link and I'm going to share it real quick in the chat
Thank you so
so
much.
that everybody can. That's the other one, and
You
then
know,
I'm
on
going to
this-
share.
On
this
this
short.
project, Janet, I've hired, if they've worked on like some fan art, or if they've worked on, if they've worked on the project in any way, like trading cards or stickers or anything like
Mhm.
that, I've
Yeah.
included them in the credits. There's still a couple people that I've got to add to it, but I've employed about 25 people on this project over the last.
I know. I've been really impressed because I've seen a lot of them join your channel too to draw, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
I've seen your a couple of your shows talking about them, because you're constantly sharing their information and stuff, and I think that's wonderful. And that's why I want to be supportive. I want to see all of you guys be successful and be able to, do something with it. But
If you want to be promoted, you got to promote others. That's how I kind of view it.
That's right.
Mhm.
But also, it just helps people get a visual of the kind of person you are, and that makes them want to support you more. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think it's great. But here is your other one that I
Midnight.
brought up. This is
Mhm.
Midnight, and I'm going to push play. I love the fact that you use that Western, the old timey spaghetti Western music. I just think
Absolutely.
that's awesome. So awesome. I just love this character. I can't wait to see her come to life. You know,
She's
because
like,
that's basically what it is. That's what you're
b-
doing. You're
b-
bringing a character to life. You know what I mean?
exactly.
In
Yeah.
someone's imagination as they read your stories. And
Well,
I
I
like
kind of think of it as you've got to get some interaction going in between characters, right? So
Mhm.
those characters say, wow, there's some good interaction and characterization, you know, with everyday speech, how they might speak, right? That's important. And then they
Mhm.
become a personality over time to you. I think when you've done that, you got them hooked.
Yeah, and I'm going to copy the midnight real quick, and I'm going to put that in the chat.
Okay. And
And
this character here, Bog, which is kind of like my Man Thing or Swamp Thing. Well, I had decided, okay, I need to do a comic. And Bog is probably my most developed character because I had decided to do a comic on him. And I have some story and pages ideas. And the first one we did is Grave Tales in this, but I let Doc Blaylock. I got to talking to him and I thought he would be perfect for the project. This is actually the artwork to the tapestry, the Darklight tapestry. And it is an acrylic painting done by Doc Blaylock, who is a gallery artist. He's kind of like he does very nice acrylic paintings in the impressionist style. But due to the pandemic, the bottom kind of fell out of that, and he'd done comics previously, so he kind of got back into the comic scene. He does have comics of his own, but this is available up for sale, and half the money goes to him.
well, did you see? I posted it up there. It said a Bone is saying, "Are you going to make more shorts?" And that you have so many characters.
I do, yeah.
That's the question.
And this Devil Flyer is not just about one character; it's about the whole Momentum universe.
Yeah. Well, here I'm going to push play on this one so everybody can check it out.
Hey, heck. Little bio music. Yeah. I love what he did there. He flipped that and extended that tree on the artwork and enlarged it.
I love it because I came from New Orleans before I came to Arkansas, and I just love this because this is it's just awesome. I just love it. And I guarantee there's a lot of alligators and other swamp creatures dwelling in his atmosphere. And I just love that. I think it's so good. And I just love this character. And I love the fact he's got these two little leaves on his head. I think that's really cool the way you did that.
Yeah.
So it's the detail is just freaking phenomenal. You guys should be so proud. I think it's awesome.
Doc Blaylock did make a mistake. He put the leaves on the wrong side of the head.
Oh, well, you know, that can be easily swapped. But
that can be flip that image. Yeah, they're actually always on the right-hand side, and usually they're just a couple of sticks, but every now and then they will leaf out, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, those are really, really good. You should be really proud of them. But I'm going to, I think I shared I shared all the shorts. So now I'm going to share, what was the other one up here? Okay, yeah, here is one of this is the Fund My Comic, and I'm going to share it. So just give me 1 second.
That's the main campaign going on right now. Yep.
I'm going to share this one.
And Omer helped me with getting, new items up and making it as slick a looking campaign as we can. 69 backers. Awesome.
Yeah. And it's very detailed, what is explained on here. And as you scroll down, there's a video to watch, but it talks about all the different things that he is offering for everyone on here. And there is quite a bit of stuff. I think you guys were really, really impressed because I was really impressed. And I see a lot of this stuff. Believe me, I look at so much stuff. And this is just so professionally done. The artwork is just amazing. It's beautiful. I mean, I could frame this picture right here.
Yeah, and that is our Jimmy Reyes wraparound cover.
Gorgeous.
And, I think covers should have something to do with the story inside. So on the back of the Virgin cover here by Jimmy Reyes, we've got a mysterious character that you'll be reading more about called the Director.
Yeah, you can tell he's like a puppet master
Exactly. Yeah,
using his
he's got his
spider
fingers
web.
into everything.
It's awesome. I just think this is beautiful. I mean, you should be so proud. I love this picture too, right here. The way that you can see the glow coming off of it and onto the character. I just love it.
This was kind of like the original color scheme for the character, sort of gray and blue costume, which we kind of, after I redesigned, the more, people were saying, well, he doesn't look very devil-like, even though he's got a pointed tail and he's got a pitchfork or a trident and, and a sort of angel wings, like a fallen angel. And this is a redemption story, Janet. He's basically made it. He's not a free agent. He's made a Faustian deal, not with the devil, but it might as well be the devil. So he's unwittingly unleashed chaos, more kind of figuratively speaking, opened up Pandora's box again, and so that is the cause for all these stories that I can tell in the interim. Some of these things will hang around, some won't, and that's kind of the story arc. He's got to set things right that he unwittingly started, and plus kind of get out of the contract that he's in with this ancient evil trying to invade the earth again. So in the meantime, he meets these other heroes, these other villains, and combines with both actually to try and save the earth. It's a story arc in a nutshell.
Yeah, I just love it. I think it's just absolutely.
If you were to look at this character, though, Janet, who do you think this character, looking at Tank Ferret's artwork here, who do you think he's based on?
Hawkman.
Okay, because of the wings.
I don't know, because of the helmet and stuff and the wings, and I liked Hawkman.
Very Hawkman, but I'll tell you, like his crest up there on his helmet, kind of inspired by Yondu, the archer from Guardians of the Galaxy. His pointed tail, Nightcrawler from the X-Men. He's kind of a mashup character, a combination character with them in mind. Also, with his costume coming off his shoulders, that's very Nightcrawler-like as well. Yeah. And basically,
he's too buff. He's too buff to be Nightcrawler.
Yeah. He's got green energy here as first envisioned by me, which is Spawn, like Spawn.
Yeah.
So,
I love Spawn.
And he's been around a long time like Spawn. I'm not going to tell you if he's a resurrected character or what, but my inspirations were actually Doctor Strange and Spawn for this character.
Yeah, I love Doctor Strange. He's another one of my anti-heroes, that I really like. And I have, I've made, little pieces of art and stuff myself of Doctor Strange and other characters. But I have my office is like, there's not much space left in it. I'll just put it that way.
Says I like the blue scheme better. I like the red uniform, says Apex. So you have your differences. And I like that everyone draws him differently. Absolutely.
And then I shared the link for the campaign. So, but the good thing is this is recorded so people can come back and look up the links and stuff too if they don't remember or they forgot to bookmark it or whatever. So that's a good thing about having it. But yeah, it's a really detailed fundraiser that you're doing for this whole thing. I really love it. And the fact that you have shirts, t-shirts that people can get and they know what character these are on the shirts. A lot of people I've seen wearing them, and I'm like, who is that? And they're like, I don't know. I just liked it. I thought it was cool. But the thing is, hopefully you have, when you send them the shirt, a little printout or whatever that gives you a little idea of who the character is, or do you have it, on the packaging of some sort or whatever like that?
It's the main John Dillard cover from the campaign, and then Shadowhawk symbol that his daughter designed. We do the 4 o'clock shadow, as you know, every day at 4 Central on YouTube and X and Facebook. We generally broadcast out to them too. Uh, and so yeah, we've been waiting to do t-shirts, and that was something new that I added to the big bundle on here. And we've got jigsaw puzzles, all kinds of stuff that's included in the big bundle. If I don't sell any more big bundles, I won't have to make this stuff, but you can see where I'm kind of going with it,
Yeah, I definitely can. But I love how you have it all laid out,
Mhm.
from the different amount of money that people send and what they'll get. I think that's wonderful. I think you've done over and above what you had to do, basically, because I've seen some that were just thrown together, but looks like you spent a lot of time and effort on here, and I think anyone would be ecstatic to be able to just come in here and help you guys out, and just to sign up for your YouTube channel and watch some of your videos and stuff, because I think it's really, really entertaining.
Well, thank you.
This is great. I mean, oh, look at this. Look at the detail on this character.
Mhm.
See, even in gray and white, I mean, gray and black, it's phenomenal.
And this is one of the
Beautiful.
characters that Devil Flyer is going to encounter and fight in the next issue. So this is, and it
Awesome.
will be featured in a 2-page spread, sort of like a preview of what's coming up in this book.
Mhm.
So
That's
he will
great.
be in this book, be making his first appearance in this book.
Yeah, all of these are just awesome. I hope everybody that gets a chance comes and at least checks it out. Because do you get like noticed when people come to the website?
What do you mean if I get
Like,
noticed?
do you get like a notification that somebody's looking at your site?
No, I don't think so. No.
Oh, okay. See, this is so good right here too. I just love it. I love some of the black and white.
That's Tank
I really
Ferret
like
doing Cy Marco. Cy Marco is the mobster from Chicago that goes up against Devil Flyer in this first story.
Mm-hmm.
And you will see him return. And this is the splash page, the first page of the book, where this is an old Spider-Man type of deal. This kind of stuck in my head, this image of the hero wrapped up in chains and sinking in the water on page 1. And then you revisit that 16 pages later, you've totally forgot about this moment.
Yeah, that's great, though.
And that just sucks you right into the story from the very first page. You're already in the story. And there's Cy Marco, as drawn by my friend of over 40 years. This is all John Falande's artwork here.
Yeah, these are all really good. But I love the fact that you're showing, how you're working towards a character, and as it's going along, from beginning to end, kind of like you do a movie, when you have a character arc.
And that's page 2 and 3 where he's looking over Chicago. So after that, him sinking in the water and being bound up, you get this earlier that day, and the hero shot of him, to beginning of the story. And you get a quote by Thomas Paine saying, "These are the times that try men's souls." And I think, Janet, especially the last 4 years, these are the times that try men's souls. And
there have been.
I mean, we have seen unprecedented destruction of our country, and we need role models. We need heroes. And that 2-page spread up there occurs later in the story. And that was the story that I told you that alludes to his origin. All that little imagery up there alludes to Devil Flyer's origin. So I'll drop little hints about who Devil Flyer is, but I'm not going to tell you to issue 7.
Yeah, well, that's good. You want to leave people hanging. Yeah. That's one of the things that it's so funny to talk to people today, is that they have no patience. They have to have it now, and or they get all mad and angry and butthurt.
Well, all these stories are one and done. I mean, they're all complete stories. They'll be very satisfying, but they will have continuing themes and stuff like that. Like in the Devil Flyer story, the director is mentioned in the Inner Man story, which is the second story after Devil Flyer in the book.
Yeah.
He's also a hero that we will be encountering very quickly in meeting Devil Flyer. He's kind of like a martial artist, a human perfectionist, of his body and everything. And so is Dead Ninja here. This is some artwork I did about 3 years ago while
Yeah.
developing characters and thinking about doing a crowdfunder before I even had a channel, or any start on my book, really.
These are really, really good. I mean, I
And there's
really am impressed.
Sargasso there.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's another character that I'll be drawing here pretty soon. Again.
And these are the type of things I was talking about, that these are simple cards and whatever you can have to have when you go to a con, because you
Mhm.
can go, right?
Exactly. And I
You
hope
can
to
get a
meet you.
booth.
I hope you do. Once we're open for Phil in July,
Mm-hmm.
and that'll be about a year and a half.
Yeah.
If we run over, I'm hoping we're not, but I'm hoping we can get this out in July. I think for such an ambitious project and years in the making, I think people are willing to wait for this. There were some very enthusiasm for this. We had 60 signups on the mail list the very first day. We had over 103 days in.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people had seen and heard me talk about it enough, and they did not kind of know, Rex, how are you going to pull this off? There's so many characters. Why don't you just, focus on one or two? It's like, that's not enough. Yes, I had the Devil Flyer story, but I said, well, I could add this character and I could add that
Mm-hmm.
story and I could add this. And actually Bog was the last major character that I added, well, I guess
Yeah.
Bystander is now, but there for a long time, Bog was the last one that I added, that I could feel like, but it was growing and growing and growing because I had this 29-page Devil Flyer story, and it was kind of the elephant in the room. It was taking up too much room in the book. So
Yeah.
I took my most developed stuff. I said, well, I got to get something out after the ash can. I got to get this out to people. So I took my most developed stuff that is interlinked and whatnot, story-wise. Like I say,
Yeah.
director is talked about in like 3 different stories in the book. So there are characters that you've not even met yet. I've supplied you with, a cover where he's on the back cover. And, they're like the main cover where he's red and burgundy, the cover where he's blue and green. And then, of course, the
Mhm.
other one's a wraparound. Something differently. Tank Ferret's going to do that same image that you like so much in blue and green, but on the red and burgundy, he'll be red and burgundy. So it'll be color different for that cover. So the same image, but colored differently.
Yeah, I think all of this is just way more than I expected, because I looked over a lot of it, but I didn't get to as detail as we are right now, and I just can't see how anybody would be disappointed with any of this.
I've got 2 things to prove with this. I can write,
Mm-hmm.
and I can draw, and I can show you some examples of my artwork real quick, Janet. There's a Bog piece I did.
Oh yeah,
A
very
little bit
good.
larger than others. That's kind of best of both worlds. You got black and white, gray tone, and then just a little bit of green outlining. I've been doing, some larger pieces like this, trying to develop some of these characters from just concepts. You want to get the charter member trading card. If you back either the ash can over on Indiegogo, which is Devil Flyer ash can, 24 pages, you'll still get all the tchotchkes and everything that came with that. 2 trading cards, 2 magnets, and those are good quality magnets. So they will hang to your metal objects, your refrigerator, whatever, and 3 bookmarks. Yeah. Everybody gets original artwork from me of 1 character, and then we do have a stretch goal for a second. If you buy the big bundle, you'll get the second original artwork done by me. And so if we hit that stretch goal, and you bought the big bundle too, you'll get 3 different original pieces of artwork by me. They'll all be the same size. Some might be horizontal, some may be vertical. I've done in the Art of Devil Flyer, beyond showing you behind the scenes type stuff, we have 10 years of visual history of Bog, because I've been drawing him for 10 years now. February 15th was the anniversary of my creation of Bog. And so I've been doing, I've drawn Bog probably more than any other character. And here's a piece I've done on the campaign. So all the pieces I've done during this time, during the campaign, will be in the art book. I've been working on round pieces. This is the Bog that you can get. And the first person that backs that big bundle that gets the t-shirts, the metal card, everything will get this original artwork. And then the next one, if that sells, we'll get the Geo Slammer, and I'm also going to do a mat for the Pogs, because Pogs were a thing in the 90s. And
Mm-hmm.
I just started doing these rounds and Bog Pogs and Geo Slammer, you know. But I had these pizza rounds, and I started doing some more characters, you know, some villains, some heroes, and then more Bog, because I'm doing a Bog Pog series on the next campaign. So I'm preparing for the next campaign too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah,
and
they're
I did a
great.
Geo Pog because the other one's going to be a Slammer, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and different iterations of Bog. I like drawing him in different ways, just like you get different artists to do them. And
Mm-hmm.
so this has been what I've been working on. And Homer's got me working in color, you know, um,
Yeah,
which is a different. It takes more time. It's you know, to do in color,
it's more
with
intricate.
especially these are 11 by 11 on a
Mm-hmm.
bigger surface. It would be, and sometimes multi-layered, you know, 2 or 3 layers to get the
Mm-hmm.
desired effect and colors.
That it looked a little bit like the Silver Surfer, or maybe his
It
father.
does. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's actually a rock type villain called the
Mm-hmm.
part of the 43, which was kind of a Nazi experiment, which is like um, one origin for 43 characters that are all psychotic villains. That way, when I need a villain, I've
Yeah.
got 43 to pick from. Some women, some. Here's a devil flyer I did the other night.
Mm-hmm.
And I often do these on the drawing shows. On Tuesday nights, I'm on Topic List drawing most of the time. On Wednesdays, I'm on the Hump Day show. And here's the last one I've worked on, which is still incomplete, but
Oh,
it's
that one's
almost done.
really scary to me, I think. That's the
Yeah, he's
scariest
an
one. It
ant-like
reminds me
character.
a little bit of Red Skull, which
Yeah.
I always thought was very scary.
He's
Yeah,
an
I'm
ant-like
going
character.
to, I'm going to share your, I think it's this one. Yeah, I want to share this other campaign, the Indiegogo
Okay.
one.
Not actual
And
size yet.
so I wanted to share this, and I already put the link in the chat. So you can tell us a little bit about this one.
Well, this is what we started off with. You know, I had you know, originally I was thinking, okay, I could do Devil Flyer, and I was actually those trading cards you saw of the early artwork. I had that
Yeah.
artist do that. Now that's
Huh?
kind of his forte. He does like trading cards, and I
Mm-hmm.
thought he did the coloring on those really well. But when it came to the sequential pages, the inside interior pages, he wasn't that good. So I kind of had to let him go, and I had to say, okay, I need to get something out there. So I pivoted, and I did an ash can.
Yeah.
And so that's what this is. I did an ash can first, got great response to it. Actually, we got about the same backers as we do
Mm-hmm.
on the current book. So
Yeah.
I think everybody really enjoyed it. And so I've kind of proven I fulfilled that one myself on this new campaign on Fund My Comic. It's going to be fulfilled by Critical Blast, and possibly my next project, which is going to be the art of John Buscema, who helped draw with Stan Lee, write and draw How to Draw the Marvel Way, artist
Yeah.
for Dale and Marvel and DC and you name it, you know, for many, many years. Big Conan artist. He drew Silver Surfer in his own book for
Yeah.
most of the issues.
Yeah.
And
These are
so
all really
I've got
nice.
a lot of his original artwork. So we're going to do a book on him. I'm kind of going after the money to finance bigger things for my own Momentum universe. I feel like an art book with his that I kind of like run on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and just wherever, you know,
Mhm.
on the different platforms will do very well. How well, I don't know, but I'm in conjunction with a friend, my friend Elsie, that
Yeah.
has a bunch of his artwork. I have a bunch of his original artwork, and we're gonna do at least one book, maybe two, called, and it's the unseen artwork of John Buscema. So we'll be doing that, and I hope to have that out around this time for field for people, and then you know, we can launch a new Devil Flyer campaign at that point.
Well, all of these are just freaking awesome. I'm so glad to have had you on tonight's show. I really appreciate you coming and sharing all this with us.
Well,
And
thank
I
you.
hope that it helps a little bit. Hopefully to get more people to just at least go to your YouTube channel and check out what you have. And because your other links are on your YouTube, right?
Yes,
For
my
your,
other links are on
yeah.
the YouTube on my
Okay,
channel.
good.
Yeah.
Well, I just shared your X again and your YouTube channel again in the chat. So anyone, there's 61 people right now watching us. So
Wow.
anyone who is seeing this and think it's interesting, at least go check it out and like it. Okay, share it with others because that way other people that might be interested or know someone that would be interested in finding out more about the devil flyer. You never know. They won't see it if you don't share. So I'd really appreciate it if all of you would share with all your friends on your timelines, on Facebook, on Rumble, wherever you're at. We'd really appreciate if you just share it. And on X, because it doesn't hurt, it helps.
Absolutely. Anywhere, I think that's been, if I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about good comics, and
Me too.
during the pandemic, and that's what I call it, not
Yeah.
my term, but somebody else's. A lot of that creativity was stifled, and I think a lot of people were at home more, so they went back to their loves. I kind of found, people drawing and talking about comics in the crowdfunding scene. And so it's been great for me to actually, I've sold on eBay for about 20 years now. And so I've been working with the public and shipping things out to them, items that I sell on eBay for like 20 years. So I do like that one-on-one with the customer, and the customer will let you know what they like, Omer kind of jokes around and says more Devil Flyer, less Bog. But people are demanding, they like Swamp Thing, they like Man Thing, and they like a new swampy character,
Yeah,
Bog. And so
I do.
I'm going to try and give it all to you. Give you Western themes, noir themes, romance, mystery, suspense, hero, a horror. A little bit. I don't see why you can't do. That's a great thing. They say anthologies don't sell. I think this one will. If you get on this, you'll see that these are all complete stories. They're interlinked, and they're going to get closer and closer and rolled into the main story. And then we'll see what really the cream raises to the top, what's really popular, and then they'll branch off. We'll do as many books and titles as you want. At one point, just to get out more things more quickly, I may do some floppies, what they call floppies, which are generally around 20 something pages or 30 something pages, smaller page count, at a lower price point, but after this John Buscema book, if we do really well with that, the sky could be the limit if we really make good on that book.
Well, I'm sharing my Friday night shit show email.
I watch it. You should.
It's my email. But if you saw anything on here, or I saw a couple of people say they'd like to be on my show, if you'll send me a message and let me know what you want to have on here, then we'll try to set you up so I can have you on after hours, because I would really love to share anything I can. Woke Breaker is one of the young men I would love to have on. I've been trying to get him for a while, because he's also him and one of his friends are working on their own comic book, totally different style and technique than this one. But I think everyone deserves to see everyone else's work, because I'm telling you right now, during this whole pandemic, I stopped watching TV. And the reason why is because I didn't watch any news, because I didn't trust anybody. And if they had anything that was a woke agenda trying to force it on me, I turned it off. It just
do you listen to talk radio though?
Yeah, some.
That's kind of where I get my, when Rush Limbaugh was alive, and
and I like Sirius, the Patriot Channel. Andrew Wilkow. I mean, I got a bunch. Andrew Wilkow even gave me permission to use some of his information in one of my scripts.
I probably haven't had inward streaming TV in over a decade. Easy. I kind of censor what, if I like something, I buy it, physical copy on disc, and I watch it anytime I want. And I know I enjoy it because you know, there's been very few things that I've shows that I bought that I didn't like to rewatch at some point.
But I started watching YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I started
Yeah.
watching, more and more YouTube. I was already watching like Nerdrotic and
Yeah.
Heel versus Babyface and Geeks and
Mhm.
Gamers, all them, and Clobby from Clobber in Time. Every Sunday or Saturday, I'd watch the Star Trek stuff. I really
Mhm.
miss Clobby. I was supposed to be on this show the following week, to talk about some stuff with Star Trek and everything, but
Mhm.
yeah, it was horrible when he passed
So
away.
so what is the thing for you? Are you like original Star Trek? Are you like next
Original.
gen? Are you
My
original?
my dad and I would watch reruns of
Mhm.
the original Star Trek together. That was because I had
What's your favorite episode? I mean, not by
There's a
title, but
couple of them. There's a couple
uh-huh.
of them. One of them was I can't remember the name of it. I always forget it. It's the one with the giant boulder creature that
Devil
tunnels.
After Dark. We talked
Yeah.
about this. That's my
Yes.
favorite episode.
I know. I told you that
I'm not a
before.
doctor. I'm not a bricklayer. I'm a doctor.
Yeah, but that's one of my favorites. And there's quite a few of them though. But I just loved the thought of a young,
And the
I was
one
a
with
young
Joan
kid.
Rivers where they go back to the 20s.
Yeah, and getting to myself thinking that one day I would be able to fly anywhere, in the
Mhm.
world or in the, anywhere in the universe or galaxies or whatever, as a young girl. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what I thought because I did everything with my dad. I'd go to the farm with him. He'd take me to the junkyard. I just did everything because I was a tomboy. So, I had 4 sisters and I didn't want to hang out with them, so I hung out with my dad.
So was your father a farmer? Because my father was a
No,
farmer.
he
and
was
my
in the
brother-
Air Force. He was jungle
Okay.
survival
That's
instructor.
right. You're the
And
military brat. I forgot.
yeah, so I learned all about hunting, fishing, what to eat, what not to eat, how to collect my own rainwater, all that stuff, and how to even collect rainwater on a boat if you're stranded on
And
a boat.
purified probably.
Yeah,
So that's
because
good
if it's
survival
rain,
technique.
if it rains down and it rises up into a thing and drips back down again, guess what? You can drink that. And it won't be salt water. It'll be good water to keep from being dehydrated.
Mhm.
Stuff like that. So it was great. I had a wonderful dad. But the thing is, I was a little bit sheltered because I grew up on an Air Force base. So I didn't get to see a lot of the negative things that people were forced to see growing up in neighborhoods, like racism and stuff, because I had every race around me all the time. We never,
Right.
I just never looked at anybody different. It's just, and church was non-denominational, so there wasn't any one direction this way or that way. It was everybody went to the same church on
But then
Sunday.
what does it say that children generally get along together no matter what they look like, but adults can't?
But I was lucky. I loved my parents. I had wonderful parents. I love my sisters. I loved my life. I was very lucky. I was very sheltered from violence and a lot of the things that, that's one reason why I'm an advocate for human trafficking. I'm against drugs. I'm against a lot of those things because I never had to worry about any of that. I lived in a protected
I
environment.
was truly shocked. Somebody put a picture of a deadly dose of fentanyl, it's probably pure fentanyl, on X recently, and I shared it on my channel. I was like blown away at just how small amount can kill you. And it's just killed so many American citizens of late. And I'm glad the border is closed down now.
Me too. I'm so thankful that things worked out the way they did in November because I was really thinking it was over. Now I really thought but see, I'm lucky because
Did you really? You thought it was over?
Because I was born.
Way?
I was born in Newfoundland because my father traveled around a lot because
on a
of
military
his job.
base.
No, it wasn't on a base.
Okay, but you're an American citizen, nonetheless.
I could be a dual citizen, and I had applied for my dual citizenship just before all this shit happened. But then when I saw how they were treating the people in Canada, I was like, no, I'm not going back. I'm not going back. I still want to go back to Newfoundland and see where I was born and all those things. So my dad was training people military stuff,
I
scuba
want to go to
diving,
England and see the
all that
places
stuff.
where we kind of gravitated over here from, I think it's
So
good to touch your roots, if you can.
I think so too. That's one reason why I did the DNA test to find out. And I didn't do the 23andMe, because I already know, and I don't want to know that I'm going to die. I have a higher risk of cancer or whatever
Oh, they're going
else.
to take that blood sample and clone you. Don't worry. There'll
So
be
I don't
Janets in
care.
the future.
I don't care. But the thing is, I wanted to see who might be out there that I
Mhm.
didn't know about. And I found out half my family of my dad's side all come from Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
And my dad was born in Albany, New York. And my mother, her mother was raised on Indian reservation in Oklahoma. And so I got two totally different types of family, together. But I feel very blessed, to find out a lot of these things. And I've gone up 6 generations on my mother's side and 7 on my father's side.
And how did
But
you
that's
wind
a
up
lot
in
of work.
Arkansas? I have to ask you that again.
Okay, well, my dad, I lived in the Philippines. I have a sister born in the Philippines. I have a sister born in Maine, 2 sisters born in Georgia, and I was born in Newfoundland. And I've lived in Spokane, Washington. I've lived in Florida. I've lived in Idaho. I've lived in New Hampshire. I've lived in a lot of places. And then when my dad got out of the military, we moved to Arkansas. So that's where I graduated from high school. But then I left as soon as I could, because I was like, I have got to get out of Hillbillyville. And then I left New Orleans, which I loved. I absolutely loved. If I could ever go back, I'm going to, because the crime was just getting out of control. It's just so bad. So hopefully, but things change in the next couple of years to get to be safer, because I lived in Metairie, and I just loved it there.
Well, I mean, there
everything
is there, for people listening, is there such thing as Southern hospitality?
I think so.
Yeah. I think you see that immediately. I just went.
Well, the
when
thing is, I could drive back and forth to New Orleans, to back to Arkansas, back and forth for work, for commercials or whatever it was I was doing. And nobody's wearing masks. You stop at all the little stores, and everybody just doing their own thing, and little shops up, and no one said, oh, you have to wear a mask, whatever. As soon as you start getting to the cities, that's when everybody's all paranoid. Everyone in their cars wearing masks by themselves, no one else in their car. So it's really sad. To me, it was really sad.
And it's a sad
that's
way to
one of the
live.
reasons why I decided to come back to Arkansas, is and plus I got to help a little bit on the campaign for our new governor. So I've been in a couple commercials.
Huckabee.
Post. So that was fun. But I love Sarah Huckabee. So
I'm one of the gentlemen that I work
and her
with.
mother's name is Janet.
Yeah. I remember when her father and that they were the first governor and the first lady when they were in office, and she was just a little girl around the Capitol in Little Rock, which is our capital. And right outside of there, I don't know if you knew it, but not Branson. It's right outside of, sort of like southwest of Little Rock, is the geographical center of our state. And
have you ever been to the cave of what was it, Crater of Diamonds? Have you ever been down there?
I have not. That's on my bucket list to get a bucket.
I've been down there a couple times.
My sister has been too. She lives in Russellville, and she said, I found a ruby, and she found something else. So she's actually found some stuff down there. It's not just diamonds, apparently.
Yeah, no,
she found a ruby down there.
The dirt is really awesome, because it's kind of like a yellowish green color. It's very different than the black soil that I have.
It's probably volcanic, right? It probably came up. Yeah.
But it's just fun. Now I don't recommend going in August because it's too hot. But in the fall and springtime, like right now, is a perfect time. You can take yourself a picnic basket, ice chest, or whatever, and stop and eat and snack and stuff. Take some chairs and your little pop up. Well, I have the chairs that have the umbrella that just like pops up over your head.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
you just
Yeah.
sit and relax, and
Yep.
and then you get your shovel and your little thing, and you just dig a little bit. If you like getting dirty and stuff, wear overalls,
Yeah.
and just enjoy yourself and go with some friends and make
Absolutely.
a
It
day of
sounds
it.
like a wonderful list.
It is. It's
It's
a
on my bucket list,
beautiful too. Very
and
beautiful.
I we're the only diamond state. That's why we're called the Diamond State, because we're the
Mhm.
only state that has
And
diamonds.
what was it? Not very long ago, someone found a huge diamond, a young
Yeah,
kid.
they found some brown diamonds too. People don't
Mhm,
know that there's different clarity levels, and
mhm,
quartz. We have
mhm.
semi-precious crystals and stuff like that. Yeah, they found, like, I know maybe last year, maybe 3 point something carat diamond there. So
Mhm.
yeah, you can dig some stuff up.
Yeah,
You
one
know,
thing I tell people too is one thing you can do is if I have a Dremel set because I do a lot of crafting and stuff.
mhm. Yep,
And
I
if
do
you have
too.
a nice Dremel set, okay, you can
Uh-huh.
find some really cool rocks, crystals, and things like that on your, just your travels, just driving through. When you get home, you can get a tumbler if you don't have one,
Yep.
and you can tumble some of them, but drill holes in them if they're not too big. But the bigger ones you can slice, okay?
Yeah, like
And
a
when you slice,
geo. Yep.
yeah, you slice them real thin, and then you drill a hole through them and you hang them up, and you make
Yep.
mobiles, and they make the most beautiful sounds. It's very soothing. Now, I don't recommend hanging them outside. You hang
Yeah.
them in your house, but if you're walking around a little bit, you hear the light clink, 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 clink
I
of them.
loved going up to around Hardy, Black Rock, different Raventon, different areas, the back cat, the cave systems and things like that. And you get up in the rocky areas. I'm kind of in like the flat area, but we do have like Crowley's Ridge that runs through several states for 400 and something miles long. But at its lengthiest, I think back in 5th grade, we did a thing on Crowley's Ridge, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like at its widest about 4 miles wide, but it is very long, and
Mm-hmm.
goes up into Missouri and different states. And I used to like to go to those rock, little souvenir and curio
Yeah,
shops when we
they're
were out.
everywhere.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, in the more mountainous areas of Arkansas, and we do
Well,
have like the
my
Ozarks.
parents are in their home is in I don't know if you heard of Grannis.
Granites, okay.
Yeah, where Highway 71, and if you drive through Mina and you go
Mhm.
straight towards Texarkana or to DeQueen, okay,
Yeah.
there's a little tiny town. If you blink, you'll miss it. But that's where my parents retired. It's because right down the road from that was where my grandfather had his farm.
Wow.
And he had
Okay.
2
Well,
ponds
return
and he
to
had
your
4
roots.
pastures.
And
So,
is your father loving it? I mean, after that
well,
long military
he's not there right
career?
now. He fell and hurt his leg, so he's staying with one of my sisters in Alabama, and
Okay.
another one of my sisters lives down the road from me, and so we take turns. We go together, and we try to go every 2 weeks to my dad's, and we've been slowly cleaning closets and stuff like that since my mom passed, and I've been collecting T-shirts and things like that because I like to make quilts
Mhm.
and T-shirt bags and things
Now,
like
when you
that.
say quilts, do you crochet?
I crochet, but I use used plastic bags. I
Mhm.
recycle them and crochet bags out of those. And I post them on my, I've got a few videos on my YouTube channel, but I also have made a lot of bags for friends of mine on X.
Mhm.
And I've got 4 right now online right
So
now.
you use that plastic bag for an inner lining? Is that it?
No, I take a plastic bag like from Walmart,
Mhm.
Lowe's, all that, and in different colors, and I cut
Mhm.
them in circles,
Okay.
like the top and bottom off, and then I make little circles about that wide, and then
Right.
I loop them together, and I make a big ball of yarn out of one color,
Okay.
and then I crochet that into a bag.
Now, how did you get onto that? Was that just to be recycling?
Just Yeah, it's like a recycling thing because when I
Uh-huh.
was in New Orleans and I'd go down to the quarter, I'd sell my stuff. I'd make recycled T-shirt bags, T-shirt quilts, and then I'd also make my rhinestone art, which I'd use old frames and recycle them.
You're
And then I'd cut
interesting. That's
my own
interesting.
mat. Mats for the pictures.
I'm going to
And
give
then
you a Southern term that they might, if you talk too much about what you do, they probably say, probably an Arkansas term. I don't know. You're off your rocker.
Yeah, I make tons of stuff. And
Yeah,
I've made
that's
mobiles out
cool.
of old keys.
Yeah.
I just real crafty. I like to make
I'm
stuff.
big on recycling myself.
I make
Around here,
almost
we've
all
got,
my own costumes too,
yeah. Oh,
for when
yeah.
I
I know
do a
you
lot
do a
of
lot of
stuff.
cosplay and stuff. What's your favorite, though, that you've done over the years, you think?
Mm.
Ooh, yeah, I
Honestly,
know.
I would say my costume that I've made for my alien from Venus.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
what I did was I took an Andorian wig and
Yeah.
the antenna, and I painted them green instead of blue, and then I got the airbrush stuff to do my skin, and then I got a bodysuit. It's red and black, and then I have a corset I wear, black corset, and then I got a little lacy doily thing I wear around my neck, and
There's
yeah,
a Telosian with a cap. Do you know what a Telosian is?
I can see it. It's really far away. It looks
Yeah,
familiar.
it is from the Cage, from the pilot that had Jeffrey Hunter as Christopher Pike in it.
Oh,
In
uh-huh.
the original Star Trek, they were the Telosians were the ones with the big brains, that with the veins and stuff. That
Yeah, that made him had a vision where he could walk and do
Yes,
things,
yes,
and made the woman beautiful so they could be
yeah,
together. Yeah, that
exactly.
was a good one. That was
That's
a
a
good.
that's a bust of a Telosian there, yeah, that I got back over in Tennessee. Um,
But I don't know
well,
if you know who Tollbat is. Do you know
Tobat,
his channel?
no,
Tollbat. Okay, well he does a lot of stuff with about aliens and stuff. So I went on his show as a guest, and
mm-hmm,
they interviewed me, and I was talking about how this is my original form, because this is me, my fake outfit or whatever, my fake costume uh, from my uh, alien planet, which was Venus. And I said, once every 1 year and 6 months, Venus and Earth get close enough as we're going around the sun to where I can transport to the planet Earth and look for human males to procreate with, because there's no men on our planet.
yeah, yeah.
So I
Well,
have a whole story behind all that, and
yeah. Mark me down. Put
so
me on
it's
the
just a
list.
lot of fun. I enjoy doing it, and I just love talking about aliens and alien invasions, things like that. And see, I got earrings right now with these little aliens on them, and I also have these. Let me show you this one of
Well, you see
these.
my little alien up there
These
somewhere.
little things. It's a ship that's got a beam coming down, so you can suck
Oh,
people
yeah.
up.
Hmm.
I wear those sometimes,
Well,
but
I don't know how you deal with the humidity and the mosquitoes. That's what I do for a
yeah,
living.
it
I
sucks.
spray for mosquitoes. Have the city contracts around here.
Mhm.
In the next few days, I think I'm going to go to Atlanta, Georgia, and do some, drop some larvicide tablets into the water,
Mhm.
little things, and so that'll be interesting. I went to
Well,
Florida.
one thing I do is I try never to have, empty containers laying around that can fill up with
Exactly. Yep.
mosquitoes. That's
Yeah, 'cause
one thing
they'll
I do.
lay eggs in any
I
stagnant
make
water.
sure that my chickens have fresh water as much as possible,
Mhm.
so that water is not gross and
Right, right.
disgusting. And I do have two creeks, but I'm on the top of a mountain, so I don't really have a lot of places to stand to have standing water. But if
Mhm.
Old tires, all
Oh,
that stuff
they're the worst.
goes
Yeah.
in them.
We're
So
actually we're actually doing
my eyes
preventative.
would swell shut if I got stung by
Well,
mosquitoes.
more people die from to mosquitoes and the diseases like West Nile, ZZ,
Mhm.
malaria than anything else. There's over 2 million people die per year from mosquito related diseases. So that's the
Mhm.
number one killer of people in the world every year is mosquitoes. So
Well,
you do
Arkansas
have to keep
also
it under
has
control.
ticks.
Actually, I
Yeah.
think we've got 17 variety here.
Yeah. So you have to be
Yeah.
careful if you're out in the woods to make sure that you check yourself for ticks
Yeah.
and to
Oh,
make sure they
ticks.
don't get
Yeah.
infected
Mhm.
and stuff. So because you can
Lyme
get
disease, scarlet fever. Yeah.
starry, you can get starry
Mhm.
disease too,
Mhm.
which means if you get starry disease, I tell guys this because it's scary, is that you'll get a rash on the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet. But guess what? It makes you to where you can't eat red meat. So
Yeah.
don't
Not-
just make sure you spray yourself down and dress appropriately and check yourself for ticks. I have a couple of hats. I should have pulled them out because I have like 75 hats, all different kinds of hats. One of them says, I'll check you for ticks. It's really cute. Someone give it to me. But I got tons of fun stuff like that. But
If you go into wooded areas, about the only, I don't have a tick problem here, but now I don't garden, but I put out some lavender and marigold and other flowers to prevent the ticks, the fleas,
lemongrass,
mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes.
And I'm going to get some lemongrass too. Yeah. Yep. Lemongrass is good for that. And it smells so good too.
Yeah, it works. There's so many things out there, natural remedies that you can put on your skin and stuff so you don't have a bad reaction. Because, see, I'm allergic to a lot of shit. So I have to be really careful what I put on. Yeah.
Well, pollen is out right now.
Every 2 weeks, I get allergy shots.
Do you really?
For 3.5 years just to live in Arkansas because traveling back and forth when I was in New Orleans, I hardly had any allergies.
What happens to Janet when she doesn't take that shot? She turns into a Talosian. Her brain.
Yeah, that's right. My eyes swell shut. I just, terrible.
Yeah. So
I mean, thank you again for joining me tonight. This was great. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, and we have 71 people watching right now live. That's really good. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who's watching us on X, Rumble, and YouTube. And please share this out with everyone and go check out his pages and see if there's anything that you'd be interested in helping him with his campaign for his book. But you get some goodies too. So it's not like you're paying for nothing. You're going to get some good stuff.
And I hope everybody will at least back something on it because they'll get a charter member card and that will entitle you to free stuff sent to you in the mail. I'll check every time to make sure you haven't moved and your address has not changed. But you'll get free stuff from my comic book company from now on. I want to bring fun back into comics and do like 3D printed decoder rings and all kinds of fun stuff that you will be free to you for just backing something on the campaign.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much again. And sign up and hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. And hopefully you'll come back and see me tomorrow night because we had a Friday Night Shit Show. There's a lot of grown-up material.
Oh no!
I have my channel set for not for children, anyways, because I don't really want kids watching my shorts or anything. I don't do anything. I've seen a lot worse than my stuff, but I still rather not just have kids. I talk about adult stuff, so I don't really.
Right. Well, I mean, hence the title.
Yeah, but I mean, for any of my stuff, all my stuff I have set, everything I do, even stuff when I'm just talking about my chickens or whatever. To me, I just rather.
It's probably best to set it that way. I mean, when I first started, I put child friendly, and it was child friendly because I was just showing collectibles, not using profanity and stuff like that. But you never know once you start having guests on how. You might get somebody that accidentally says something offensive. I don't know.
Yeah. And on Sunday, on Sundays, I do movie reviews. So come back on Sunday afternoon because we watch a movie. I can't remember if we're going to do one this Sunday because it's Easter. I don't think we're doing one this weekend. But we watch a movie and then we review it right after. And I try to dress up as a character or a theme of whatever it is we're doing. So it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. But is anything coming up on your channel special this week?
Coming up on my channel? No, not really. I mean, I do interviews. I try and do some interviews, with other creatives, other creators, draw streams, like you said, and those are really popular, I think, on any channel that does them. I think people like to see the stuff being made and how you do it, and just a daily show at 4:00 Shadow every day, 4 Central, 5 Eastern. And we talk about a myriad of things. It's almost like a variety show, in a way. I think we found our legging, as much as I really like doing the interviews, it's not just all about that, but we talk a lot about comics, but that's not all. Other collectibles, things like that, drawing in general in the campaigns, and we promote others so that we, don't feel bad about coming like on shows like this. We will
Yeah.
definitely be promoting you tomorrow and talking about you tomorrow. We've had you on once before. Thanks for coming in. I hope we'll have you on again because you're always interesting. I think you're even made more interesting to me. I think in between you and me, we show people that there are interesting things that happen in Arkansas.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with being a nerd.
There's nothing wrong with being a nerd. It's the only way
I've
to
been
be.
a nerd my whole life. I don't know any different. I've always loved comic books.
And what made you a nerd?
Scary movies. I love scary movies. I love animals. I love hunting. I love fishing. I love camping, hiking. I do all those things. And I love this state of Arkansas. I absolutely love our governor. She's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
I think
a great
we're fortunate
state.
to have her right now.
Here, please don't bring your liberal point of view here. Just come here and just live and be free. Be a free American. So yeah, that'd be great.
And enjoy the hospitality.
Yeah, definitely enjoy that. But I just want to say thank you again, and everybody have a wonderful night. And I hope you like my outro.
Hey, Jackie.
I'm going to go see him in concert in June. I already got me a ticket, and I got me a VIP ticket. So I get to be over there by
Have you seen The Chosen Last Supper? Have you been watching that? I've watched all 4 seasons.
I haven't watched. Is it on TV?
Well, they're releasing the 5th series on movies like they do, and I think it'll be on Amazon Prime after that, maybe Angel Studio. I don't know. You can check it out. They've got their own YouTube thing. It's called The Chosen, and often episodes are on there. So they're basically the Last Supper. It's leading up to the crucifixion. Great stuff. We watched part 1 and 2, and I hope before I take off for my trip that I'll get to see 3 and conclude. And then that way I've seen all of season 5.
Well, usually every Easter, I watch the Passion of the Christ.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Great movie. Cavoozle.
I love that. So,
and they're doing a sequel this year. They're going to start.
Oh, they are?
They're doing the Passion 2 and start filming, I believe in September or August.
Wow. Okay. Well, no, I didn't know about that because I told you I don't really, I don't hardly ever watch television. I get most everything I need off of all my friends, and plus I play a lot of DD. And,
I'm the same way, Janet, and I live a happier life for it.
So, well, that's the way it is for me, and I take care of my chickens and my house.
You better.
So, and I do promo work, so that's mostly what I do.
Yeah.
So
sounds like a nice, prosperous life.
It's less monotonous, I guess you could say that. So, I only put up with the bullshit I have to.
Well, Janet, I feel like people need to slow down. Society's going push, do more and more and more. And that doesn't mean you don't have goals and that you don't work towards, your empire that you want to build, whatever that is. If it's a stay-at-home mom, I know a stay-at-home mom, she's had like 6 children and very happy. That's all she wanted to do. And she's very happy doing it, and
she'll be even happier one day when she has grandbabies that come see her. So everything has rewards in it. You just have to be patient. And that's what I was saying earlier. Remember, I was talking about that it seems it's sad because people have no patience anymore. They cannot wait 5 minutes to get through a drive-through,
Absolutely.
Things like that. It's really, really bad. But I just want to say thank you to everyone again. And thank you for joining us. And I hope you'll go and check out his YouTube channel and his Fund My Comic Book or whatever website and everything. It's all in the chat. And hope you guys enjoyed it. So have a great evening.
After
First off, let me convey, to my family, friends, and supporters that now is not the time to gloat. We must remember that most of our left-leaning friends are good people who want the same things in life as we do, but simply think differently on how to get there. It is now time to be the bigger man, to extend an olive branch and unite all reasonable people of this great nation. God has blessed America, and together with President Trump, we will make America great again.